Before we get in with Mark Milke, please donate so keep us on the air, because you aren't going to see him on the front pages of the Toronto Star. You're the president of the Aristotle Foundation. Thank you for coming in. I've read all of your writings for ages. One of them is decolonization. I hear this from people all the time. They say, decolonize, law professors, decolonize. What does that mean?
I think it means they think somehow colonization or empires are just a bad thing in principle. And of course, they're not. They're just another form of government, right? You can have a local tribal level government in history. If you're part of the Roman Empire, you know the old Monty Python jokes, like what has the Roman Empire ever done for us, right? The roads, the bridges. Yes, but besides that, right? Well, I think the government you're under depends sometimes how you view it. So, of course, if it's a foreign power, you're not crazy about it. But, if you're the British in India and you're female and you're about to be burnt on a pyre, you kind of like the empire. On the other hand, if the empire oppresses you, you're not going to like that form of government. So I think it's experience, and I just think it's the experience you have. But
So a bunch of disaffected white people calling for decolonization because they want to be with maybe some indigenous people, or as my friends call them, Indians. Yeah. What would you have left if you decolonize Canada? And sort of wipe it clean, what's left?
Well, here's the irony. Again, there's no perfect form of state or government, but look, if we have 600 different little principalities in Canada, what does it remind you of? It reminds me of Europe, pre and post Roman Empire, and you have people taxing each other, putting barriers up at the bridges. That's really no way to run a continent or a country, right? It's not very prosperous.
Well, unless you're in a different land. But
if you're the local honcho, the big guy on campus, or at the tribal level, you get to oppress people without anybody interfering. So look, so I'm not saying empires are always a good idea. It depends on the empire, but I kind of think the British were better than most. Certainly the Soviets. The French, the Spanish.
We have liberties in the British Constitution.
Right.
And there are freedoms. And in Canada, we have freedoms, and we aren't exactly an empire. Yeah. We don't have anybody from New Brunswick beating the heck out of Alberta.
Yeah, I think it's kind of an anti-English, perhaps to a lesser degree, anti-French.
So is it completely illegitimate?
I don't think you can really have 600 principalities in a northern part of the North American continent. I don't think it's realistic. I think ultimately what you want from Canada is a country where individuals are free to flourish, and that means you're treated equally under the law and in policy, except for the
So that's why we have British law and civil law and Canadian law.
Exactly. Yeah.
So from your point of view, and your analysis of it, you're saying, really, somebody if they're out there for decolonization, say, we got to decolonize.
I think it depends on the specifics. Look, I don't think we should decolonize in the sense we should get rid of British institutions. Remember that the British were trying to stamp out slavery, including in British Columbia, where the First Nations held slaves until the late 19th century. And so is an empire good or bad? I think it depends on the specifics of who and what you're talking about in history, or now.
And not bad in Canada. I'll leave that judgment to you. Thank you very much. 3 minutes. Thank you for watching another analysis of the issues that impact Canada. Trudeau is gone. We have to rebuild the country. We need independent analysis. We need debate. We need thought. So please keep us on the air. Subscribe, donate, become a member, because God knows Canada needs rebuilding.